So let's go to Philippians 4, 6 through 7. And it says this, and probably most of you know this passage. It says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." And let me start off with something about this verse. It opens up with "be anxious for nothing." I want you to understand that is not a command. That is not a command saying, if you're anxious, then you are in sin. What this verse is saying is there is a better way to live than through living in anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion. It's not a sin. It's an emotion. And emotions are not sin. You can have an emotion, and that's fine. Jesus, sometimes we don't want to look at Jesus, the life of Jesus, and say, was he ever anxious about something? Was he ever nervous or worried or concerned about things? Because we like to lump all that into the sin category. And of course, we know Jesus is without sin. But I don't know that I could think of someone who is praying so hard for something that the capillaries in their forehead burst and they start sweating blood, that I wouldn't say wasn't concerned or anxious about something. And Jesus was. He in that garden, he looked at that, and his prayer was, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. We focus a lot on the, nevertheless, not my will, your will be done. Oh, the holiness of Jesus. But his first thing was, don't make me do this. But I will. But please don't make me. Because he didn't want it. It was hard, and he was anxious. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Anxiety is not a sin, but there's a better way to live than to be anxious. And we see that with Jesus, because by the time he gets done, what did he do? Through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, he made his request known to God. His situation didn't change. He still had to go to the cross. But when we see him by the time he's getting to the cross, we see a different person. We see him at peace, delivering statements like, "It is finished." Whereas before he brought it to God, we see him sweating blood. And that's powerful. That is real power. So prayer and supplication, what that means is earnestly and humbly asking God for something, generally help, with thanksgiving. Now, this is what I wanted to point out. Thanksgiving is not just a nicety we tack on to the end of a prayer to gain favor with God. Okay? That's not what this isn't like, but in everything, by prayer, by supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. This is by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known to God. It's not this thing we tack on like, oh, make sure you say please and thank you so that God sees that you have good manners and then he'll bless you. That is not what that verse is saying in any way. This verse is saying that when you are truly thankful for what God has done in your life and you can truly see who God is and you'll bless his name, then real power is released when we take things to God. Real power that can take a situation that should be causing anxiety and it will flood you with a peace. And then it describes that peace. It says it's a peace that surpasses all understanding. Do you know what that is? Because people who don't know God can't understand how it could ever be possible for you to have peace in this situation. But you can because of thankfulness. You see, thankfulness, when coupled with prayer for help from God, is a force that overcomes anxiety and it replaces it with peace. That's a formula that is put into the Bible. Thanksgiving is power. We couple it with our prayer. We give it to God. We're telling God, hey, I have a need. This is where I'm at. This is my situation. But I recognize who you are. I see what you've done. I know who you are. I'm going to respond to that. And I overflow with thanksgiving, and power comes into me. And that power looks like peace. And it floods me, and it guards my heart and mind, and the anxiety is gone. That's what this verse is saying. It's not saying, be anxious for nothing because anxiety is a sin. Instead, do this. It's saying there's a better way to live than being anxious. We have an open doorway to heaven. And all we have to do is by prayer and supplication, through thanksgiving, for all he's done, for who he is.